Bureau. Lee, always good to see you. Hope you and your family are getting ready for a great holiday season and bowl season, which starts tomorrow.
Right.
What's up, man?
I'm good. Hope you guys are well. Yeah, it starts tomorrow. There to get in a couple extra games. It doesn't start on Saturday now. It starts on Friday, 11 a.m. your time.
Yeah, that's right. The Bahamas Bowl, which is not a bad place to be for Middle Tennessee or Toledo, followed by the Cure Bowl. I don't even know where that one's played. Coastal Carolina and Northern Illinois. Not going to ask you to handicap 38 bowl games. I don't think we've got the time or the patience or the energy for that. But there are a few that stand out above all the rest, and some of local interest. So let's start with the Liberty Bowl. Mississippi State and Texas Tech, Bulldogs 8.5, 9-point favorite, depending on where you look. It's Mike Leach against his former team. He was not shy about pointing out in a press conference earlier this week that Texas Tech still owes him money for 2009. Old grudges die hard, I think. What do you see with the Dogs and the Red Raiders?
Well, the court system would beg to differ. And he's going to also face his former coach, Sonny Cumbie. So just so weird how Cumbie is going to be the new head coach at Louisiana Tech and he's still coaching this game. When I think I've seen everything, something new comes up. So, I'm looking literally, I have two guys that from yesterday through probably Sunday morning, they will literally every 10 minutes be on Twitter and on the internet checking for Kenneth Walker Jr., the new guy that decided that he's not going to play for Michigan State. That's huge. I mean, I don't know if there's another running back that had a better year, but in this game, I think that he's going to take it personal. So I think he's got the two reasons Texas Tech has not been good really the last decade is they don't have a quarterback and their defense is horrible. And that's a bad combination. And I think he's going to put it to Texas Tech here. So you got a top 10 passing team, Mississippi State, and you have the 126th rated passing team here in Texas Tech. Wax job. I think Mississippi State wins 48-27.
48-27. So comfortably and a nice way to finish off the year for Mike Leach and Mississippi State. Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Baylor is favored in this game. I will tell you, I don't know if you care about home field advantage in a bowl game or not. I don't know how many Baylor fans are going to be there. I'm guessing somewhere in the 7,000 to 10,000 range. I'm just telling you, Lee, that in terms of Ole Miss fans, it's going to be somewhere in the 45,000 to 50,000 range.
Right. And who doesn't want to spend, the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day in New Orleans? I mean, it's an easy thing for a lot easier for the Ole Miss fans, and justifiably so. Now, one of the best defensive coordinators in Aranda against the Lane Train, great matchup. Here's where I think Baylor's defense has been good. You saw them play, in their last game. Their red zone defense is excellent, but when you play at the pace that Ole Miss does, number 2 in tempo in the country, you catch even good defenses that are not set, and you get some busts in coverage. So I think that we're going to see Baylor have trouble with explosive plays, which they've had a lot of trouble with over the last couple of years. And the Ole Miss defense, which was maybe one of the worst defenses we ever saw last year, they really improved this year. So I just think that they might get a little stingy in the red zone. I think it's going to be a fun game because both offenses, especially with Baylor having back both quarterbacks, will be more aggressive than maybe they were in the last couple games of the season. I think Ole Miss, though, is the right side, 30-23.
So 30-23, Ole Miss by a touchdown over Baylor. You alluded to this a second ago. Tell me a little bit more about this process, because you're trying to figure out who's opting out. You're trying to figure out who's declaring for the draft and is going to sit out the bowl game. Trying to figure out if anybody's got injuries and what maybe in some cases a month layoff or COVID means to these games. How do you do it?
It just takes a lot of work. I mean, there was times last year, reminds me of last year, but this weekend will be probably the most intense through Sunday. The NFL, I don't know if you heard, just recently announced they're going to relax some of the protocols. So if players have been vaccinated or asymptomatic and they pass a test, they can play. So you're going to see a bunch of guys that may not normally have played be able to play this weekend. And I mean, there's some teams like Cleveland. They're missing 5 starters on offense, 3 on defense. So they might get some players back, 2, 3, 4 hours before the game. So it's going to be interesting. Just takes a lot of work. There were some times last year, Richard, we were here until 1, 2 in the morning. So you know what? Could be worse. I could be digging ditches.
Almost like the protocols that the SEC and a lot of college football put in place this year that worked all season long are a good idea. And maybe the NFL realizing that they're going to have to do some of that to get the rest of their games in. What is the bowl special? What are you giving to people in this season of giving to make it worth their while to come and get your picks?
Okay, so normally we call Double Down December's $297 through December 31st. And last year, from the first bowl to the Super Bowl, we won 27 of the last 36 games. One of the best runs we've ever had late in the season. They want to hop on board. Use coupon code SAVE200, just $97 from now through December 31st. Or if you want to go through the Super Bowl, which is in mid-February this year, a week later, use coupon code SAVE300, just $197. I'm making it much cheaper out there because I know if someone comes aboard and is successful, they're going to want to come back next year or join me for basketball, hockey, or the UFC.
All right. So that is the way to go. Save $200 to get through the end of December. Save $300 to get through the Super Bowl and all the football picks for Lee. All right, 2 semifinal games. Alabama, big favorite, almost a 2-touchdown favorite against Cincinnati. Georgia, a little better than a touchdown favorite against Michigan.
Desmond Ridder, who, some guys will never put their opinion out on players. I think Desmond Ridder is a bust if he makes it the NFL. I just saw one of the projections they have, the Saints taking him late first round. I think he's a 3rd, 4th round talent. So good college player, but if they fall behind Alabama, they're in trouble. So Alabama, once they get ahead by double digits, those blitz packages they have are just devastating. Just no one seems to be able to navigate those waters and come back and beat them. So I think Alabama, though, is going to have a different game plan this game. Cincinnati secondary might be the best or one of the top 2 or 3 in the country. I think they're going to run the ball, unlike using the pass to set up the run like they did against Georgia. So I think Alabama's the right side. I think they'll have success running the football. I think they pull away late, win and cover 34-13.
All right. So 34-13, Alabama over Cincinnati, and then Georgia and Michigan. Last time we saw Georgia humbled a bit against Alabama. Michigan was impressive against Ohio State. They were impressive in the Big Ten championship game. Do the guys in the maize and blue keep it going, or does that Georgia defense that was so good all season long shut down Michigan?
What did you think the line was going to be on this game when it came out, before it came out, Richard?
I would have thought Georgia would be favored, but by less than a touchdown.
That's what I thought. I thought it was going to be 5.5, 6. So I think it's a little heavy. Kirby Smart, all he needed to do was beat Alabama and has a much clearer path. He would have faced Cincinnati or someone else, maybe a Notre Dame. And, they just didn't get the job done. I don't like their coaching staff. I don't think they do a great job of preparing their players in big games. I think you got 2 similar teams. Michigan's going to have to do a lot different than when they played Ohio State and Iowa, but their game plans in both games I thought were spectacular. And the kids they're getting better each and every week. I think it's a game that goes down to the wire here. I have Michigan pulling off the upset, 27-26. Yep.
So a Michigan-Alabama in Indianapolis for the national championship. I know you said we're not talking again to the Super Bowl, but if we get that matchup, we might have to talk one more time before.
We'll talk. Then. We'll talk before then if that happens. So after this weekend, I might need a break, but we'll come back after the new year and talk about things. That sounds good.
Hey, real quick, I'm assuming that Hard Rock Stadium is going to be just absolutely packed to the gills with this matchup between Georgia and Michigan.
It is. It's going to be – they got lucky. Turns out, here's a quick story. So someone asked
30
me
seconds.
Yeah, someone asked me for tickets, and they said, "Do you have a connection?" I said, "Maybe the best one ever." The president and CEO of the Orange Bowl, Eric Palms, was my next door neighbor growing up, and got him into sports. Used to drag him 2 years younger out of the house to play street football in the neighborhood. So true story. I don't have many connections, but that's one, and a good friend of mine.
Good to know if I ever need tickets for the Orange Bowl.